Hey guys, welcome to our first game. It's an adventure, urban action adventure that we're going to take place in. I know you guys have never gamed before or played an RPG, so welcome Cypher system. And before we get started, what are you playing, Anthony?
Oh man, I'm so excited. Yo, I spent all night making up this character. I'm Jack Johnson. He's a strong warrior who wields two weapons at once. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
And I'm Lightning Flash, the fast adept who drives like a maniac. At all, I'm so excited to do this.
And those characters sound great. That's pretty awesome. So before we get started, guys, just remember, I take Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, and just send me that $25.
What? We gotta pay for this?
Uh,
And is that okay? Let's find out. Hey yo, it's your boy Agent Albatross here again with the Cypher Unlimited crew. We got the usual suspects of AD or Alpha Dean. We have Spigs or Anthony and Alpha Dean. Why are we here today?
well, we're here to talk about the rise of the paid GM or game master. This is a thing that personally I never thought I'd see, but let's get right into it, guys.
I mean, Dean like hit it. I don't think any of us would have foreseen 10 years ago that people could actually make a living running role playing games for other people, but it seems to be happening and it's happening more often. And I guess we'll discuss whether or not how we feel about it. We'll also discuss whether or not do we think it's good for the hobby or not. So I guess we'll lead it off with this. What exactly is paid GMing? Could somebody like just give us a brief overview of
Well,
what the topic is? Good, Al.
I mean,
oh, Al-
no, you said you look like we were going to say something.
yeah, I was going to just talk about there's a great article by Bloomberg Business Week, and they really kind of jumped right into it, and they talked about individuals who are being paid now to literally, introduce people to gaming. I mean, the article is specifically more about Dungeons and Dragons, but this is going on across the board with all RPGs that are out there. So, and it's literally, you see it on Roll 20 and things like that, where people are advertising, 5, 10, 15, $20 games, in order to join their game. This is the charge. Um,
I
and
mean, I was gonna say I think it's I think there's many different levels to paid GMing,
Yes.
and I guess let's like break it down. You mentioned Roll 20, and I think Roll 20 is kind of like the base level. The guy that's in his house advertising games on Roll 20, Fantasy Grounds, you know, or advertising these $10 a head, $20 a head players, and then you have the person that's advertising, corporate games, which is
right.
more of on a higher level, and it's I
Well,
would
they're
get. Oh,
they're hosting these games, making $300 to $500 a session.
Not only that, though, one particularly pay to play gaming that we didn't touch on at all yet. Well, Anthony really brought it to my attention, but it is a very nice cause when there are charity games. Like
yeah.
those aren't you really paying. You're not really paying the GM in that case. You're more helping a cause. I mean, I don't know how the funds get distributed because I've never looked into it. But again, they're working towards earning money for a cause, not for the GM's pocket or whatever have you.
Right.
And that's another like case of pay to play gaming that's kind of in its own realm.
And another case of pay to play gaming, just like Al said, would be con games.
Yes.
I mean, we've all attended, GM'd, and played in con games where it's a $4, $5 fee, sometimes $8 fee for bigger games, but you still
But that
technically.
money, but that money normally doesn't go to the GM either.
Yeah, but you still technically, as a player, you're still technically paying in order to take part in a game session. But
I think so. To make it a little bit clearer, I think it should be like we said initially, on our little intro, is or even the title, the rise of the paid GM. Because that I think that more so is opposed to pay to play. I think that's more so where we're headed with this and what we're trying to define or flesh out.
All right, so then we'll start it off at the top. Um, I think this is a controversial and hot topic. I think people argue um, on both sides of this fence. I see people arguing, "Hey, this is not fair." This is definitely making gaming inclusive. I mean, exclusive. You can't. If you can't afford to pay, then you can't afford to play. I'm not so sure if I necessarily agree with that statement, but I could see the argument. And then you have the other people saying, "Hey, if I could get people to pay me to run games, why not?" I'm putting in the work, which is an absolute fact. I'm some of these GMs are probably putting in 10 to 12 hours of prep prior to the session, and they want to be compensated for those hours. And God knows that everyone should be compensated for the hours that they put in.
Yes.
So I'm sort of indifferent, to be honest with you. I'm kind of indifferent on either side of this. I know personally I've never paid for.
I mean, again, it comes down to if you know the GM, like if the GM has like a reputation that you enjoy, like you've seen their Twitch streams or something like that, and you want to pay for the chance to play with that GM, I feel like that's an okay case. Like they might be popular or something. I don't know if this is anyone's case at all. Like,
that's actually a good point.
Yeah,
a well-known commodity.
Yeah, like they would. Yeah, they pay for that. Like, hey, you get to play with me, this well-known whatever have you. But again, I don't know if that's the case on Roll20. I don't browse those like.
We can't even just look at it at Roll20. Let's
in the broad strokes.
Yeah, the broad strokes. Because realistically, if Matthew Mercer, Vin Diesel, you can name a ton of Perkins, Monty Cook. If any of those guys advertised, "Hey, I'm gonna run a session for 6 people, it's a paid session," I'm pretty sure that he or she can find 6 people to pay well over $250 for a session.
Most definitely.
Hands down, Matthew Mercer without even blinking an eye. Like before he even finished the Twitter, he would have 6 people paying $500 a session.
He could do if he wanted to, he could do a Kickstarter. I'm going to run a session for different people every week, ongoing campaign. Guess what? $200 is the baseline.
Actually, $200 might be cheap.
Cheap? That's super cheap for Matthew Mercer. Come on.
Yeah. He could easily get 500, I would think.
But in the other side of that coin is, I guess I'm a little bit torn with the concept, because for me, I've been doing this for over 40 years now, and like I said, the idea of charging people like that, in one respect is like, man, maybe I should quit my job and, make this a thing. Because, I mean, I've been told I'm a great GM. I've been told by many people. I know every time people sit at my table, they seem to enjoy themselves. But the other side of me, the other portion of me is like, I'm just trying to introduce people to this great hobby.
Yeah, I could definitely see that point. But I think the guy that's running games on Roll20 isn't making enough to I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they hustling, they got their Harlem hustle on and they work at 20 hours a day. But I think the professional GMs that are actually sustaining enough money, creating enough of an income to sustain themselves are the corporate GMs. The guys that are running games for Google 2 or 3 times a week, or running games for corporations that want to do team building exercises.
But because something like that, though, I would look that, to me, that's not a big deal. I mean, actually, that's cool. I think that's really cool. That's no different than anybody who goes out and do self-help seminars.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff like that. I mean, the program that I'm working now, I'm doing it completely voluntarily, but I'm working with a veterans program. where we game with vets, and we try to help them transition and all that kind of stuff. Just things to help them re-socialize with the civilian world. And that's really cool. Now, mind you, there is a budget. They do have a budget. To place it. We get use of a facility. We get refreshments. Our lunch is always served. So that's cool. But I want to make $500 GM now.
I mean,
but to be honest with you, we touched this before. I think if first of all, systems like D&D lend themselves well to those corporate, but you have to come. I think that the games that we normally run
are not $500 games.
and it has nothing to do with the narrative, it's the additional things that someone has to add on. Like personally, if I'm paying a set, or if I'm a company, you better come with some props. I want to see.
Well, yeah. Well, I want to see. Think about it.
If you maps, whiteboards, dice for everybody,
But that's kind of the thing in that article. That Bloomberg article touched on that. He's paying, charging $500. What you think about it? I do my first party. Let's just say I do my first party. I make $500-$600. I can go out, buy all the props, all the crap that I need, and now when I go do my next group, that $500 is all profit. I'm not spending any of that money because now I have all my props. I
mean, it's still definitely a hurdle. Not to mention how much you might have to carry around for a corporate party. I don't know how many people might need to share a book, or do you have enough PDFs to pass around the table? Do they have their own devices to look at things? There's a lot to take into consideration when running for a big scale type deal.
Yeah, I think that it's I think it would be difficult. I think that the cost, when you're showing up, that means you're showing up with the books, you're showing up with full fleshed out characters. No one's pre-making characters. You're basically showing up with the dice. You're showing up with the pencils. Right. So you probably have a cost that entails with running those.
But that's what I'm saying. So you're showing up with what you're going to have anyway, what you already have, because it's no different than when we run games at home. The three. I mean, Al, your shelf is right behind you. Anthony, I think
that's manga. That doesn't help me at all with role playing games.
No, you're up there, and you're.
Yeah, but do you have enough players? Because let's call it what it is. Most of those people are paying for D&D, right? So do you have enough players' handbooks and enough? Because if you're showing up to a Google,
they're gonna want to hold books most likely.
Yeah. Unless you have a pre-agreement that, hey, you have to have 6 players' handbooks on site or whatever it is.
But if I'm showing up to Google, I'm probably going to tell them that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm not showing up. Basically, my job is to facilitate a game, to introduce you to this game. It isn't about me giving you a book to peruse, because guess what? You're getting pre-generated characters anyway. So I only have to explain it to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm doing Cypher system, guess what? Cypher system offers a free primer.
I would kind of disagree with that, because if I'm paying you $500-$600, guess what? If I'm paying a plumber $500-$600, he's not going to tell me you'll have 2 plungers waiting. To be honest, on corporate, you basically a plumber. You a contractor. It's not you doing me a favor by GMing.
Well, no, but I'm saying
I'm paying you for a service.
But yeah, you're paying me for a service. But again, the service isn't that I have to provide you with a book to look at. I'm introducing you to the game. If you want a book, you're going to go buy your own book, because I'm introducing you to the hobby. That's all I'm.
But I'm not telling you to. We going on for tangent.
Yeah, this is a crazy thing.
But as a boss, I'm not telling you to give me the books, but it's a lot easier to explain when everyone has a book in front of them when you're explaining. That's true. I mean, neither one of us has shown up to Google to run a game, so we don't know
No.
how it goes. But I mean, that's what I would assume.
We all know that Google's have their D&D, all their handbooks implanted in chips in their heads already, so there's no need for anything, okay? We already know that's the case.
We don't. We don't even need that anymore either, because you could show up with iPads and have everything on, what's that,
SRD. The SRD.
Yeah, and, just hand everybody... So you actually don't need the books.
And the thing about
the iPads are more expensive than
you don't
books.
even have to show with an iPad because everybody has their own devices.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying about like with Cypher system. I would just direct everybody to the Cypher system, Monty Cook Games, download the Cypher primer, and let's have at it.
I mean, so I think we all in general agreement. Then if you're doing corporate, you're doing birthday parties, corporate, you're basically a magician.
You're running events, yeah.
Right. If you're an event GM or DM, then like that doesn't touch on the sketchy or the iffy part of GM.
Right. And I find it interesting, like you're talking about the sketchy, like, I remember the day, I hopped on Roll20 and the guy was like, well, I've been GMing for 2 years and, you should pay me $20 to be in my game. And I just chuckled and said, I'll find a game elsewhere. Thank you.
I mean, it's not hard to see the mindset of someone trying to make money off running games, even if they're like some low level. I don't want to use the word nobody because it sounds mean, but some low level.
And I also
nobody.
say you could be running games for 2 years and be a phenomenal GM.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
Like your length of time as a GM has nothing to do with your ability to make quality games.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these guys will tell you I run decent games, and I've been only GMing maybe 3 years, 2 years. But either way, that's not the point. The point is that this person, like, let's say I decided I feel like the work I put in is worth money. It's understandable, but it's kind of questionable at the same time. Unless you're bringing that same level of production as these event like things where you have very nice illustration, or let's say you're doing it online, you have nice art ready, you have nice music for each scene, like you have very well thought out like character arcs or whatever have you. Like that's a different story than like, let's say just me, like I know for a fact that my games, if I charge somebody to be in one of my games, they would be furious. They would be absolutely livid.
What was the joke we said last week? I forgot. What? We were shopping for 3 hours and I paid $25 for this?
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, that's just the kind of games I run. They're not of the kind of, they're not of that quality of like, of a finished product. You know what I mean?
Well,
mine is more about having fun,
if you
having
put it
fun
that way,
story.
they don't have, your games are great, but they're not high production value.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we could start discussing because what would you expect? All right, maybe we should hold that off for later. So why do you think if someone goes online, what are the shady aspects of like petitioning people online or trying to lure gamers into paying you on, say, a site like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds?
Well, the biggest sketchy thing is this. First of all, if you're telling people that they have to pay you, before the game starts, or you're paying to get into a game and you don't know this person sight unseen, never heard, never rolled a die with this person, you really don't know what you're getting. So is the $20 really worth it? It's not like,
I see some people on Roll20 ask for $40, up to $40 per person.
Oh, it's really hard to say. Like, I've never looked at these like postings or whatever have you, but I feel like a way for these sketchy things to be not sketchy is to have a sort of resume. Like, hey, this is one of the games I ran, or here's a 20-minute clip of something I did. Like, that makes it a little more like, oh, hey, I like how this guy runs a scene, or like I like how they handle combat, or whatever have you.
Or even build yourself a dossier. You know what? You can go around. Okay, hey, like if I wanted to do this, I would say, hey, Anthony, Al, or hop on Discord on our station and be like, hey, people, would you guys mind writing me some recommendations or some reviews on my game mastering.
I think a lot of people do have those.
Does Roll20 have like a review system for users?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
I have a question then. So do you think paid GMing on gaming sites is ethical?
I mean, there's a lot of things that have questionable ethics when it comes to making money off entertainment. But what it really boils down to is the person paying. Are they getting what they like? Are they getting what they feel like is the money's worth?
Yeah. Are they getting what they expected?
That's really what it all boils down to. And again, it's as far as ethics go. Like, if you don't like it, you can avoid it with ease. Like, it's there's a tons of free to play games. It's very, very easy to not have to pay for games or to not pay for games.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think, especially on our site, we there's a lot of people, the 15, 16-year-old boy or girl, they live in rural America, rural Europe. There's very few gaming stores. The only access they have is the internet. They know very few people. They get on first time they log on to Roll20, and they get intimidated by a lot of people on Roll20, which I always found a little funny, is they want you to go through this interview process to get into a game. And then they see these ads where there is no interview process. It's, hey, you pay $20, I'll show you the game. This person, all they have is the player's handbook or the Cypher system rule book, no one to play with. And they see, hey, for $20, I'll run you a game, I'll show you the game, I'll explain everything to you. So they see it as an easy entryway into gaming. But it comes with a cost. It's not like, we all started because we knew someone that knew how to play and was willing to teach and was willing to encourage you to play more. But some of these people don't have those options. So I can understand the need at all costs to want to pay for a game. So I don't necessarily think it's as easy as it is, say, when we first got into gaming.
I mean,
I would actually venture to disagree with you, Anthony, only because the game is so much more accessible. Only because it is so huge. We are living we were saying golden age. I'm going to go so far as say the platinum age.
I knew you were going to say it.
It's the platinum age, man. I mean, I'm amazed at just how many people, know about D&D now or know about gaming now. I had a lady at work. It's funny. A lady at work, little Mexican lady who is straight Catholic. She's like close to 60, and she walked up. And I was looking online with my grandson, and I think I saw you. You think you saw me? Yeah. Do you do this Cypher thing? I'm like, yeah.
What? Oh you got recognized in public? That's you two.
Recognized in public.
I'm the only one who hasn't yet. No. No. And I'm the most recognizable of us.
The better question is, D, did you tell her to subscribe to our channel?
Absolutely. Of course I did.
But
I'm saying a 60-year-old little Catholic lady, had a whole hour-long discussion with me at lunch today about Cypher, and what we do. It was very interested. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's...
No, I do think there's more people aware of it, but that doesn't mean that there's more people willing to teach them the...
So, Anthony...
the better question is, I don't know the stats to this, but do you think that there's more people on those gaming sites that are newbies paying for games, or do you think it's seasoned players that are paying?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
I don't know the
But
stats for that.
let me interject
either,
real
but-
fast before I forget my point. So the scenario you were describing, Anthony, which is why I'm with Dean on this disagreement. The scenario you're describing is an old school dilemma. That's like an 80s dilemma. You have no one to teach you. There's no outlets. Like you the only resources. Like in the 80s, you don't have the internet, but whatever. Like you find it classified.
I'm gonna charge you with this. I will bet each of you $1, right, or a beer or whatever you want. That if you go to the Cypher Unlimited Discord server and go to the past 7 days, you will find a comment in one of our chat rooms of someone saying, I have nobody to play with. That's why I came here. I've never. I couldn't find.
That brings me to my point, which is now you can find online communities such as Cypher Unlimited, such as any other of these role playing game Discords.
My point wasn't. My point was that it's my original objection when you said it's so easy to find a game. My point was that it isn't. You have to put yourself out there.
Oh, I mean that's the point. I mean that comes with any social like interaction, whether it be making friends or like again looking to play not just role playing games but any sort of video. Like again, I play Smash Brothers. If I want to get good at Smash Brothers in person, I gotta go out and meet people. Like that's something I have to do.
Smash Brothers is not.
It's not comparable. I'm just talking about
someone to teach you Smash.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you want to be competitive, yes, you do. But that's another point. That's not. Let's not get into that. But anyways, what I'm saying is now, like it's super. Again, you might have a hard time making friends, but it's easy to find. We're not the only online community where you can find people playing games.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the door. With more people advertising, hey, I'll do everything for you. All you have to do is give me $25, show up, and after this session, you will understand the game.
It's definitely tempting.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I couldn't fault someone for wanting that easy pass into learning gaming.
Oh no, for sure. But again, if you don't have the money to do it, there are other options.
And that's where I have a little issue with it. Like I've said this multiple times on the server. I have nothing against paid gaming and why we decided when we first started to see you that we wouldn't allow paid advertisement on our server because I didn't want new players to feel that the entryway into gaming was having to pay someone.
Yes.
Right.
So,
it's definitely a good philosophical stance to have, or moral stance, or whatever you want to call it.
I think, and you got to think again, I just find it, for me, I think part of it, and I agree with you that there's a good philosophical stance. And part of it for me, too, is the fact that, I've watched this game evolve, to the massive scale that it is. Because there was a point in time that, people would try to beat you up because you played D&D. That you were a pariah. You were sanctioned to the basement. You were a cellar dweller. The satanic panic. All of that craziness. All that weight that many of the old school gamers carry. And then all of a sudden, there's this new wave of, hey, guess what? This is a cool hobby, and you're gonna pay me to play it.
Now those same people are paying people to teach them D&D.
Right, and it's crazy because like a lot of us old schoolers, we're missing the boat. We really, really are. I mean, the idea. The first couple of times I saw somebody actually do the pay to play thing, I got pissed off. I got into it.
I ain't gonna lie too. My first reaction was anger.
Yeah. I was actually really pissed, and I actually got into a internet, argument with people. This was about 4 years ago, but since then I've watched the evolution because the evolution in 4 or 5 years is amazing.
It's been crazy. Even though I haven't been a part of it in the since even 5 years ago, I wasn't really doing this stuff. But even in just since I've like just watching it from the outside, I like you can tell like it's become so mainstream because I wasn't part of my life or anything, but I knew that people found like there was Critical Role or whatever have you, what the Adventure Zone, all those popular things, and it's definitely it's been a crazy evolution.
I'm not gonna lie. I had the same exact reaction Dean had when I first created a Roll20 account, and I saw. The first thing I did was I looked at all these games, and I saw this whole list of paid games. I got anger. I was like, man, they freaking monetizing a hobby that I've loved, for the last 20 years. I could have never imagined. People pay you in pizza and beer.
Right.
Like,
well,
just
even
buy me a pizza and I'll run a game for you. And now,
right. And that was the thing. And it wasn't even like buy me a pizza, it's buy us a pizza.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna eat.
Because you're definitely gonna have some of that pizza too.
Right. It was always. I remember how we used to do it when we were gaming. Everybody would get there, and we would sit there, and then everybody would pool their money. Even the GM would throw some few dollars in, and you order 2 or 3 pizzas, get 4 or 5 2-liters, and you had a game. But then let's go to the other side of the coin. We all have been paid as well. You do know that though.
Wait,
and that's
what?
when we go to cons. When we go to cons, they pay for our badge.
Oh, you mean that one time I did it?
Exactly. What time you did it. But I'm just saying, it is a thing in that respect. But I don't think we even look at it like that because our biggest thing is, hey, I'm going to the con. And I was going to run games anyway. So, whatever. I was willing.
No, but even with cons, right? Gaming is subjective. Like what Dean might think is an awesome game, what I might think is an awesome game, what Al might think is an awesome game. But Steven will show up and be like, yo, that's whack. Oh, that sucks. That guy's a horrible. I wasted my $8. You know what I mean? So that's why I think paid GMing it's very weird. Like I don't have anything against it, but it's such a subjective field that
but that's the same thing with art, with music, with any sort of like creative endeavor. You have to really, again, when you're buying, because you're buying this experience, you have to know what it is you're buying. With this situation, it's a little harder because they might not have that, like, you might not have ever seen them play before. They might not have a link to what they've done before. So in that regard, you got to be really careful because, again, gaming is extremely subjective. You don't know what they have planned. You can't know what they have planned unless you've seen them run games before.
And also, think about this. If you're being paid, right? I just thought about this right now. But say you being paid $25 a head or $30 a head, and you have a disruptive player.
Ooh.
Are you willing to refund that person? Or you have someone at the table? I mean, I'm sure you have a set rule because, hey, dude, I paid you for a service. So if I want to pick my bookers throughout, hey, you can't tell me I can't pick my whole.
So then I guess that would be another thing.
That's where this thing becomes a business.
Yeah.
That's business, and that's when you throw up the disclaimer.
Yeah, if you do
X, Y, and Z, you forfeit 50% of your money, or you forfeit all of your money.
Or whatever.
Once the money's paid to me, it's mine, but I still have say so at the table. I mean, and people agree.
I agree that that's the proper business etiquette, like setting out a disclaimer.
Yeah.
But then I worry about the 1984. This is how I'm gonna do it. The soup Nazi. I don't like the cut of his jib. You out the game.
I mean, it's really difficult, and this just boils down to even just the general RPG issue of, do you mesh well with other people? That is another issue into itself. Like,
see, that's the thing, because this is such a social convention. I find it interesting. You think about it. You know, and Al, you may not be as aware of it, but Anthony, you definitely are. Um, you know, you remember the days that Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs in general were the they were the outlet for the socially awkward, for the you know the not cool guy, the guy that wasn't in the in crowd, you know, um, and it was their place, and that's where you have a lot of the people, and that's you know it's funny because we got to talk about that, but that's stuff where I think a lot of the people with the gatekeeping come in, you know.
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah, I 100% agree with that. You know, a lot of times people gatekeep without knowing that they technically gatekeeping because they were being gate, I don't
Get
gatekeep
kept.
their entire life, and
Right.
then they feel like it's you know in some ways, oh hey, this was our thing, and now the jock and you know like the cool kids are playing it too. Like this was ours. Like you
Right.
know,
You know, and they don't know how to play it right. You know,
yeah.
they're messing it up. You know, I mean, literally, I literally, and I have to say this, like I said, we need to do a video on the gatekeepers, but I literally had a guy literally write that women should not be allowed to game because they mess up the fun.
This is another topic because I think even the title gatekeeping is subjective as well now. Because if you like, you know how you would say, "Hey, I've been playing for 10 years." On Twitter, a lot of people would be like, "Stop gatekeeping! You tell me how long you're playing. That's gatekeeping." You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, tell me, yo, I've been playing for 20 years. Like I wouldn't view that as gatekeeping, but people on Twitter do.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's a big thing, you know. So yeah,
I don't even know the definition of the word anymore. Really.
That's
let's
another thing for
let's
another
take
time.
Yeah.
that's another topic. So let me ask you this
Uh,
question: if you pay for a game, what do you expect?
shit, everything. If I'm paying you, yo, I would be the worst client, the worst. You don't let me pay you for a game, because I better show up. What one you better have? I want sets. I want props. And this sounds fucked up, but it's fucking true. I'm very stingy with my money. So if I'm paying you, I'm expecting an experience 10 times better than what I could produce. I'm sorry, and I know that it's not realistic expectations, but that's just you know like I'm the guy when I pay for a movie and the movie sucks, I feel disappointed. I'm the guy that buys a lotto ticket, and if I don't win, I'm angry. You know,
But
like
no,
I'm sorry.
I fully agree with that point as well. The only thing is, it depends on how much you're paying, and again, if you know how they do things. Like, if I know that I'm paying $5 to be in Anthony's super improvised game, that's fine. Like, I know what I'm paying for. That's fine. If I'm paying $300 for this like full on event type style thing, you better come with maps. You better come with figures. You better come with dice. You better come with books. All that. Like, you better have good voices. Like everything better be top notch. Like. But again, I think that just goes towards when you pay for anything. You just know what you're paying for.
Know what you're paying for, right? And
Let me rephrase that. Going to a con game, I'm paying $5. I don't really care. But if you advertise something, you better put what you advertise. That's a better way of phrasing it.
well, and I think that's it. Let me quantify it in that sense. If I hop online and there's a whole advertisement and an article, and I have to fill out an application and go through an interview process, and then I have to pay you after you've interviewed me. Yeah, you're going to you better deliver, you know. And I'm not even going to say I want you to be, you know, 10 times better than I am or what I could do. All I want a hell of an experience. I better walk away from that table going, you know what? That was worth my $20. You know, the other side of that coin is like I said before though, like, you know, going to a convention, $8, you know what? $8 to play in the Epic.
it's not even the money with conventions.
Right.
I just want to laugh. Like I'm not trying unless I'm a Cthulhu game or something like that. Most of the time, if I'm paying for a game at a convention, I just want to laugh. I just want to have fun. I want to smile.
I go to the convention for the social experience.
Yeah, it's
so it's not
those
about
games,
whether I laugh. Yeah, I just want it to be enjoyable. I get to sit at a table with a group of strangers and we come together and tell a great story, tell a 4-hour story, cool beans. So those are not those things, but
But if I'm paying $25 to $40 for a gaming session,
right,
and it's someone, I'm just paying individually. I expect an experience,
right.
And I know it's wrong of me, but I expect an experience better than what I could produce.
Yeah, most definitely. Because again, I know how my games are, so would it be hard for what I'm paying for to be better than what I produce? So, but then I don't think I'd be in a position to pay for games because I have you lovely folks.
And like online.
But that's what I'm saying. Online, you know what? You just better give me a hell of an experience.
No, but online you could produce a highly cinematic.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I've produced some severely.
We all have
20 hours of prep with music, multiple images, cutscenes. So I would even argue that you could produce an even better product online.
Well, you know what? And you could, in one respect, but like I said, online, yes, I'm expecting certain things. In person, like you said, if in person, listen, you better have some crystal cast dungeon, dioramas set up so I can see my mini movie, so I can, truly lock my imagination into this thing. That's just, it is what it is. But what I'm saying is, I want it to be an experience and I would with me as a player when I play, the game master in me ever see. And if your game isn't inspiring me, on some level, making me go, damn, I would have did this, or ooh, I would try this, then you're not doing your job as far as I'm concerned. If I'm paying you for that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like if you're playing for free and you're having fun with your friends, the little things you'll let slide because you guys are all having fun. But if I'm paying you for a service, it's like any other service, because once again, once you start into I'm paying you for a service and I don't know you, you are a contractor. And I mean, sad to say, but I would view you as a contractor. Especially if I don't know you. So that means that we're paying you for a service and you have to fulfill everything that you put in the contract prior to the game started. And if there isn't, then
if anything's off, refund or whatever have you.
Yeah. Right. I mean, so let's lead into our final thoughts. Like, what's your final thoughts about paid gaming?
I mean, the biggest issue with paid gaming, and this is a good final thought, is that it creates a gate. Essentially, like even in Anthony's situation, what he described was a new player coming into the hobby. Even like just by chance, they happen to see their first post was a paid game, just by chance. Like it might not be flooded with those posts, but they see that initially, and it could be very scary to say, "Hey, I have to pay to learn how to play this game." Like, but again, on the other side. Is again the positive and negatives we all discussed just now. Is just as long as you know what you're paying for, as someone who's already know the game, like you trying to buy an experience, you got to know what you're buying. Like just straight up, just know the person. Like, and if you're a gambling man, go for it. Buy into the game that has an unknown GM and see how it goes. You might be surprised. That's one of the beauties of life.
And for me, it's a dichotomy. It's a real dichotomy because there's the portion of me that's been doing this forever, loves. I can't emphasize enough how passionate I am about this hobby, about this, this experience that just wants to be able to give it to people, come in, enjoy it, let's do this. You know, and there's that other side for me where I'm sitting here going, damn, I get complimented all the time. I get sought out to do things. People call me up, this, that, and the third. Why not, take advantage of that? Why not, reach out and start doing it? So, because I know personally, if I'm paying for a service or if I'm charging for a service, I have my own business. I work on computers. I custom build computers. So I'm very passionate about my product. No different, and I would feel no differently about if I was a GM charging for a person, charging a person to play in the game that I'm running. I'm passionate about it. So I'm going to put my best foot forward. So, that I think that's where I stand at it. It's like, okay, yeah, go for it. Do you? But, is there a happy medium? Can we give them a trial game before we charge you?
One free game.
Yeah, one free game, or
that's a good business model, Gene. Good business model.
I think my final statement is, if you can get the money, go for it. I don't hate the player. Hate the game.
That's that New York mindset. Chase that paper.
Yeah, I mean, I would never knock a hustler for hustling.
Oh no,
it's facts.
Whether it's ethical or not, I don't have a problem with paid gaming. I have a problem with, like what Al said, whether it creates a gate for newer players, but that's up for us to educate the newer players. Those people that it's our job to show them, hey, there's also free, ways of going about gaming. But if you could make that money, I'm not gonna hate the hustle. I'm not, and I was a hater like 4 or 5 years ago. Now that I think about it, and the more I thought about it, it's like, yo, they getting paid, they making this money, good for them. Yo,
well, like I said, that's why I stand in the push me pull me realm. Because I ain't mad about nobody making money. As a matter of fact, I'm a little jealous. I'm
the anger to the jealousy.
Dude, listen, I'm the first one to admit it. I can tell you when I'm at fault. I'm suffering from the green-eyed monster. After reading about people, $500, they're going in, and giving somebody a 1 to 4 hour experience, 1 to 4 hours, and you walking out the place with 500 bills. You're invited back to come back,
but once again, there's an overhead cost to that. Like it's like any other business.
But again, the overhead is only initial. The overhead is only an issue. And I mean, I'm sorry, 10 hours of prep. I'm doing what I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not punching somebody else's clock, and that's the clock I'm punching,
yeah.
But either way, guys,
I would like to do that. Don't get me. Hold on, I gotta touch this. But I would like to do that. But that's not. Okay, 15 hours. Now do the math. That's like $25 an hour or whatever it is, right? That's like saying, I hate that narrative when people like tell a professional athlete, oh, you playing a game that you enjoy. But there's a lot of work that leads them to becoming those players, like getting to that stage. There's a lot of, you're not just playing basketball for an hour, you're working out 8 hours a day. So, it's.
But again, I agree. I'm with you. But what I'm saying is,
like, I don't think
if somebody were paying me to do exactly what I enjoy, I'm not upset about the prep. I'm not upset about it. And if it's a fair and decent wage for what I'm getting ready to do, I'm all for it. Like I said, when I build a computer, I love it. I absolutely, I love it.
No, I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but what I'm saying is, if you doing that as a job, right, 40 hours a week, I love ice cream, right? But I worked at Carvel in high school, and when I went home, I got sick of freaking ice cream, dude. And I love ice cream.
But if you were being able,
guys, So, this is supposed to be final thoughts, guys. So,
interrupted my final thoughts.
What this tells us, though, that is it is still a very, even if we're in agreement, it's still we're having differing opinions on things. So be sure to hit the comments below with your opinions, guys. Let us know how you feel about it. Let us know how you feel about how we feel about it.
Which I think this is a jumbled mess because I don't even know how we feel. I don't even know how I feel about it anymore.
But either way, though, this has been a fantastic talk. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like.
Before you sign us out, next week we might not have a regularly scheduled Wednesday video. Me and Dean, unfortunately, Al is not coming. We'll be heading to Gen Con. And if you're at Gen Con, please stop us and say hi. We'll love to hug, take a picture with you, chat about gaming. Tell us that we're wrong about paid GMing.
and while Alpha Dean and Spigs 18 are away, Ancient Albatross will play, maybe. Maybe I'll post a game or something that day. I don't know. But either way, that's for the future.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. We also going to be posting little videos from Gen Con that we should have up the following week. So, please be on the lookout for those.
And and even better than that, if it works out, maybe we can even post some stuff like as Gen Con is going on that night, from the day. Maybe we can throw some stuff up on YouTube, because we're gonna, like me and Anthony saying, we're gonna, as we're going through Gen Con, we'll have our phones with us and we'll record. I think YouTube has a live stream feature, so maybe we'll do some of that stuff too.
But that would be cool.
I know me and Dean always argue, but he's my older brother. I got to argue with Big Bro.
It's all right.
I have the little brother complex.
But again,
all love. I love this guy.
It's been a fantastic talk. Keep your eyes open for our Gen Con clips and for our future videos when they resume the following Wednesday. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to click that little bell to be sure to see those Gen Con clips as they go live. Or I don't know if you need to click the little bell to know when we go live via YouTube Live. But
yes. If you click on the little bell, it would notify you when.
All right, so there you go. So if you want to see some live Gen Con clips from Dean or Anthony, be sure to click that little bell. And it's been a fantastic little chat, guys. So from us at the CU, we will see you later.